Okay, so if you're running a small or medium-sized business, you know technology is basically the engine that keeps everything moving. But what happens when that engine starts to sputter? Yeah, it can bring your entire operation to a grinding halt. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on IT support. We're going to give you a super clear way to choose the right service for your team and turn all that tech chaos into a real competitive advantage. Does this sound familiar? Your absolute best salesperson can't get into a critical file right before a huge meeting. A key software update totally fails just when you're on a deadline, and suddenly you're spending more of your own time fiddling with tech problems than actually, growing your business. These little fires, they can turn into a full-on blaze, and it just kills productivity and morale. So here's our game plan. We're going to kick things off with the two main ways to think about IT support. Then we'll talk about the one single metric that truly matters, and that's speed. After that, we'll get into finding the perfect fit for you. I'll give you a handy checklist for making your decision, and we'll wrap it all up with a simple 5-step plan to get it all running. All right, first up, let's really dig into the big difference between the old way of doing things and the new way. This is really the heart of the matter. Are you waiting for things to break, or are you actively stopping them from breaking in the first place? So this is the classic model, what we call break-fix. You know the drill. Something breaks, you frantically call for help, and then you get a bill. Now, on the surface, it might seem like you're saving money, but the real cost is hiding in all that unpredictable downtime and those surprise invoices. You're always playing catch-up, just reacting to one problem after another. And then we have the modern approach, the help desk model. This is all about getting ahead of the curve, being proactive. Instead of just waiting for a disaster, a help desk is constantly providing support and management to keep your systems running smoothly. It's designed to catch issues before they turn into major headaches, which brings some much-needed stability to your team. And look, the business world is already making its choice. The trend for 2024 is crystal clear. It's a massive shift towards proactive models like the help desk. Why? Well, it's simple. Having predictable monthly costs and almost no downtime is just better for business. It's a strategic move away from that chaotic firefighting and towards controlled, predictable growth. When you put these two models side by side like this, the difference is just night and day. With a help desk, you're getting a proactive approach, predictable costs, and ongoing support. With break-fix, you get the exact opposite. It's reactive, the costs are all over the place, and you're only calling when you're in a panic. It's the difference between having a strategic partner versus just an emergency number. So we've established that proactive is the way to go. But how do you actually measure what good support looks like? Well, it turns out the most important metric isn't buried in some contract. Nope, it's measured in minutes. This right here is the key idea. That service level agreement, the SLA in your contract, it might promise a response in, say, 24 hours. But what good is that when your team is stuck right now? The real measure of great support isn't some legal document. It's about how many minutes your team spends waiting around versus actually working. Every single minute of downtime is a minute of lost productivity, period. And this isn't just a feel-good thing. It has a direct, measurable impact on your bottom line. When problems get solved fast, your employees are just happier and way less frustrated. Their productivity skyrockets because they're not fighting with their tools all day. And of course, when your team is productive, your whole business performs better. Fast IT support is a direct investment in your company's success. Okay, so you're sold on the idea of a proactive, super fast help desk. Awesome. But which one is the right fit for you? Let's break down how you can match a service to your company's specific size, your budget, and your risks. Let's talk money, because that's always a big question, right? This chart gives you a pretty realistic idea of what you should expect to budget. A basic help desk, that's going to run you somewhere between $20 and $50 per user a month. If you need something more comprehensive, an advanced help desk is usually in that $50 to $100 range. And for companies that need the whole shebang, full infrastructure management, those managed IT services can start at $1,000 and go way up from there. Now, here's a super simple way to figure out where you should start. If you've got a small team, maybe 1 to 10 people, with pretty general data needs, a basic help desk is probably perfect. As you grow to, say, 11 to 50 employees, and you're handling sensitive data under rules like GDPR or HIPAA, an advanced help desk becomes pretty essential. And for the bigger teams dealing with really complex compliance stuff like PCI DSS, well, full managed IT is really the gold standard. Beyond just the size and cost, you gotta ask these 3 big questions. First, what's our risk? You have to know your data is secure and that the service is reliable. Second, can it scale? Is this solution going to grow with us, or is it going to hold us back in a year?
And third, how fast are we going to see the benefits? Look for modern tools, things like AI support, that can fix issues in seconds, not hours.
All right, you know what to look for. Now it's time to arm you with a practical, actionable tool you can use to check out potential providers and make a decision you feel really good about.
Here it is. Before you even talk to a single provider, define your goals. What are you actually trying to achieve? Is it about cutting downtime, making employees happier? Then, know your budget inside and out. After that, start researching providers and definitely ask for case studies. You also need to figure out exactly what compliance standards you have to meet. And finally, please never forget the end user experience. If it's not easy for your team to use, it just won't work. So you've made your choice. The final piece of this puzzle is making sure you roll it out successfully. This 5-step plan is designed to help you get from making a decision to a totally seamless implementation. First, you gotta assess what you currently have so you know where the real gaps are. Next, you'll use your research to pick the right provider. Now, before you go all in, run a small pilot test with a handful of people to iron out any kinks. Then it's all about training and onboarding so everyone knows how to get the most out of the new service. And finally, remember, this is an ongoing thing. You have to constantly monitor performance and get feedback to keep making it better. So let's end with this question for you to think about. After everything we've talked through today, it's pretty clear that the right IT support isn't just about fixing computers anymore. It's about empowering your team, it's about boosting productivity, and it's about securing your entire operation. It's no longer just an expense you try to minimize, it's a strategic investment that can become a true engine for your business's growth.